Good evening, everyone. The time is 7:33, and I'd like to call this meeting to order. Councilman Jones, would you mind doing the invocation?
Council President, she can't hear us right now. We could hear her, but she can't hear us. So.
Councilman Ferguson?
Father God, we just thank you for your grace and your mercy. We are thankful for how you have kept us safe yet another day. And Father God, we just ask for your presence and we ask for your authority in this meeting, Father God. We come against all difficulties and technical difficulty right now. We ask that your presence will be in our midst. Father God, we thank you for your guidance in Jesus' name. And I ask that you will bless the citizens of Glen Arden and all the participants and all the employees. In Jesus' name, amen.
You are muted. You can mute or unmute yourself.
Amen. Does anybody else hear the?
Yes. Sorry. Okay. It was Councilwoman Jones. She got.
Okay. All right. This meeting is being recorded. Ms. Jones. I'm sorry. Oh, there we go. Okay, I'm sorry, Madam Clerk, could you do the roll call, please?
Sure, thank you, and hello, everyone. Councilwoman Fareed?
She will not be joining us this evening.
Okay. Councilwoman Guillaume?
Here.
Thank you. Councilman Hairston?
Here.
Thank you. Councilman Herring?
Here.
Thank you. Councilwoman Jones?
Here.
Thank you. Vice President Ferguson?
Here.
Thanks. And President Curtis?
Here.
We have 6 in attendance.
Okay. May I have a motion to adopt the agenda?
So moved.
Moved by Councilman Ferguson, second.
Second.
Second by Councilman Hairston. Discussion?
Yes, Council President, may I?
Yes.
Councilwoman Fareed, who we all know is unable to make it, she asked to see if we can table the return in-person topic that she had asked to be placed on there.
Okay.
We can table this since she can't be here.
All right, we will table that. Anyone else?
Yes, Mr. President, question.
Yes, sir.
So I thought we had legislation on this agenda.
I was going to talk on that. I omitted it from the agenda. It was posted, but I was going to add it to this agenda. Councilman Harry?
Okay.
Did you? I'm sorry. What's your question with that? Did you want it on it, or did you just ask it?
Honestly, I really think it shouldn't be on there, but I mean, I brought my thing up before about introduction of legislation at the work session, but we can move forward. I'll talk to you about it later.
Okay.
We can talk it offline. All right.
Okay.
Okay.
And so with that, I did want to add the legislation for the signage on the agenda. It was on the website, but we did not put it on the agenda. So I would like to add it to this agenda to vote on it. Any other discussion? All right, Madam Clerk, can you do a roll call to accept the agenda, please?
Sure. Councilwoman Guillaume?
Yes.
Thank you. Councilman Hairston?
Yes.
Thank you. Councilman Herring?
Staying.
Yes, sir. Councilwoman Jones? Vice President Ferguson?
Yes.
Thank you. President Curtis?
Yes.
Should we just pass on Ms. Jones right now since she's having audio issues?
If no other council
I'm
member,
sorry, yes.
I got it. Thank you so much, Councilwoman Jones. Okay, so we have 5 yeses, 1 abstain. This is passed.
thank you. And I will move the, okay, well, I'll move the vote on resolution now, so we won't forget about it. So do I have a motion to bring forth the resolution for the resolution R10 2022 for the signage for the council? Do I have a motion to bring that to the floor? I motion it. That's the first. Do I have a second? Second by Councilwoman Jones. Any discussion?
Was the resolution, was it corrected?
Yes, and it was posted, the correct version was posted on the website. And we'll read it before we, officially vote on it. So you can see it. Madam Clerk, would you mind reading the resolution, please?
Sure. Resolution R-10-2020, introduced by Derek D. Curtis, Council President, co-sponsors at the request of the administration. Session, regular work session, date of introduction, December the 6th, 2021. This is a resolution to authorize the purchase of 3 sandwich boards and the replacement meeting inserts for 6 sandwich boards. Whereas the city of Glenarden, Maryland holds regular legislative meetings to conduct this city's business and keep the citizens informed of legislative, administrative, and financial matters involving the city. And whereas it is the city council's responsibility to announce all meetings, agendas, legislation to the public with whereas it is the city council's responsibility to announce all public meetings, agendas, and legislation to the public at least 24 hours in advance of the meeting via cable station, website, marquee, and meeting sandwich boards. And whereas the city of Glenarden already has an established relationship with vendor Signorama, and it is in the best interest of the city to continue doing business with said vendor to procure the updated signage and replacement PVC inserts. And whereas the council appropriated funds for the purchase of 3 sandwich boards and replacement meeting inserts for 6 sandwich boards in the FY22 budget and public works repairs and maintenance street account number 10-60-60-7311. And now therefore be it resolved by the City Council of Glenarden, Maryland, sitting in work session.
Regular session.
I'm sorry, regular session. Sorry, I'll correct that. This 13th day of December 2021, that 1, the mayor or the council president be and is hereby authorized to enter into an agreement with Signorama of Laurel Incorporated for the purchase of 3 new large billboard A-frame sandwich boards and replacement of the PVC inserts for 6 large billboard A-frame sandwich boards for $12,150, provided that the authorization to enter into said agreement be and is hereby contingent upon the city council's authorization. And 2, that this resolution shall take effect immediately upon adoption.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Can you do the roll call on the vote for this legislation?
Yes, sir.
I'm sorry if there's no more discussion because I opened it up, but anyone wants to discuss? Okay, Madam Clerk, you can proceed.
Sure. Councilwoman Guillaume,
Pass.
okay. Councilman Harrison,
Abstain.
okay. Councilman Herring,
Thing,
Councilwoman Jones,
I'm sorry, yes.
Vice President Ferguson,
Yes.
President Curtis.
Yes.
Should I go back to Councilwoman Guillaume?
Yes.
Yes, Councilwoman Guillaume,
Sure. So if I'm reading the resolution correctly, it's coming out of the Public Works budget, correct? The line
Yes.
item. And so the reason why I hesitated initially is because it is, I never expected sandwich boards to be that expensive, but there has been an outcry for new sandwich boards, so I will say yes, but I'll just say yes, just to keep it moving.
okay, thank you. We have 4 yes, 2 abstain. This is passed.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Next on agenda is vote to approve the minutes. The minutes have been posted. There was only one comment last meeting by Councilman Fareed, I believe, about some edits that were made. And now we are going to vote to accept the minutes from July the 1st all the way through October the 7th. So do I have a motion to accept these approved minutes?
So
Um,
moved.
So moved by Guillaume, second.
Second.
Second by Councilman Hairston. Discussion? Okay. Madam Clerk, can you do the roll call to approve the minutes, please?
Sure. Councilwoman Guillaume,
Yes.
Councilman Harrison,
Yes.
Councilman Herring,
yes.
Councilwoman Jones,
Yes.
Vice President Ferguson,
Yes.
President Curtis.
Yes.
We have 6 yeses. This is passed.
Thank you. Now we're moving on to administrative reports. Let me see. So I know that the mayor was able to provide the mayor report last time, and we did not have the treasurer or the chief of police read his report. So I would like for the treasurer report to be read and the chief of police report to be read, and Mayor Cross, if there's anything additional that you did not cover last time, then you can add that to your overall highlight for your report. Mayor Cross, do you know if Mr. Stewart is here?
Hello. Yes,
Ah,
I'm
there
here.
we go.
Yes, he's
Okay.
here.
I was looking for your name and didn't see it. Sorry, just
Yes,
an oversight. So we'll start with you, Mr. Stewart. Could you please give the treasurer's report?
Thank you, President Curtis. This is the Treasurer's Report for October 31st, 2021. We would look at revenue and expenses for the month ending October 31st, 2021.
I'm sorry,
Total
Mr. Stewart.
revenues.
Mr.
Yes.
Stewart, do you have the financials with you that you can share?
No, I had sent the financials to each of the members.
Okay. I just moving forward, when you do your presentation, can you have a visual presentation so that the citizens can follow with us, please?
Definitely will do.
Thank you.
But this is a summary of the financials, and there are copies for residents and anyone who needs a copy. I will have that emailed to you. All you need to do is request, and we'll have that sent to you.
Okay, you can
So,
proceed. Thank you.
thank you, thank you. So the total revenues up to October 31st, 2021 was 4,134,135. Total expenses were 1,431,871. In this case, revenue have exceeded expenditures by 2,702,264. Of this amount, we still have to take into consideration the ARP funds, which was 2,162,000. That would leave us with operating funds, our surpluses, still having revenues over expenditures of 540,000. As the city move into the first month of the second quarter for fiscal year 2022, installment receipts for fiscal year 2022 real estate property tax are increasing. As in previous years, majority of the collections for real property tax will be received in the next couple of months. In a subsequent review for real property tax, November had collections of 1,009,597.
1 second, Mr. Stewart. Councilman Jones, can you enable me to be able to share? I have it, his report up, and I'd like to share it with the citizens. I can't hear you.
That feature is there for you to use,
Okay.
but I'm like, me and the webmaster went on to put this meeting on live YouTube. So that's why we're experiencing some problems with my hearing, and I'm not sure. You can try to share it and let's see what happens.
It says the host disabled participant screen sharing.
Yeah, screen share is there for you to use.
Yeah, it's disabled.
Yeah, it may be because I'm using this, I'm streaming this on that YouTube
Okay.
live.
All right. Sorry, Mr. Stewart. I tried to give you some help here with the visuals, but
Yes.
you can move forward.
Definitely, definitely. Okay, so at the end of October 2021, collections for general funds was 1,733,283. Of this amount, total taxes or total local taxes was 1,563,000. License and permits was 25,681. State grant was 73,936. Other financial sources, we got 70,458. For cash updates, our current bank balances as of November 19, 2021, which is when I prepared the report, our main operating account had 9,363,381. Forbearance account had 7,103. The gold room account has $108,965. Block grant had 4,000. A cable PEG grant account had 299,918. To date, the city's cash balance remains sufficient to pay all outstanding bills as they become due. We want to speak about the ARP funds. And the most important part that I want to address is the fact that the ARP stated that where the city has reduction in their revenue due to COVID-19 shutdowns, we may be able to recover some of the shortfalls. And this is especially with the goal room. So we'll be looking at the goal room, looking at the period, like for 3 years, to see how well they were doing. And then we will make a request to use those funds from the ARP to cover or to recover those losses. The bank loan, as of November 19th, the balance was $2,079, representing the last month of payment for December. I can tell you that as of today, that loan has been satisfied and paid in full. The audit for year 2021, the auditors have contacted me after corresponding with them, where they brought to my attention that they were actually having staffing issues, short staff in most cases, which has caused the audit to be dragged out in some senses. Given that, I requested an extension to submit the fiscal year 2021 audit from the Department of Legislative Service, which they have given us until January 31st, 2022 to submit. Tomorrow, I will be speaking, or I will try to get through to the auditors to find out what is our progress on these reports, because we need to get them done before that date so that we could do our submissions.
Thank you. Oh, I'm sorry.
There's one more thing I wanted to talk about,
Okay.
and it's about the goal room. If anyone could see the report, you would see that for the month of October specifically, the goal room had made a surplus of $2,093. The revenue for the goal room was $7,401, which was a few specific programs or events that were kept there, and they bumped up the goal room in a position where it made a surplus, which I was really happy about. And I hope we could continue this. Now, there are a few people that I must thank for that specifically. And one I would say is Councilwoman Gilliam for her push to keep a program there, which really brought in some funds for us. And the church, I can't remember the name of that church now, but they have been continuously supporting the goal room. And I would encourage everyone to use the goal room and let it be sustainable to support the citizens of Glenarden. And that's your report for the children.
Thank you, Mr. Stewart. I appreciate that. Acting Chief Jackson, the Chief's report, please.
Yes, good evening. How you doing?
Good evening. I'm well. How are you?
I'm fine. Anything in general you like to hear? You have a copy of my report?
Yes, the copy is online. If you just want to briefly go through it, that's, for the
Okay.
citizens' awareness, that's great.
All right. Back in October on the 23rd, the officers provided extra police presence for the expungement event that was held in the Gold Room. We assisted with vehicle traffic patrol and participated and with the participants entering the Gold Room. On the 30th of October, police were assigned to coordinate traffic control for the shred day.
Acting Chief Jackson, one second. I think I can hear Monday Night Football in the back. You mind turn that?
Oh, I'm sorry.
I know it's a good game tonight, but I want people to hear your report. And it could be a brief report because I know we've already gone through October. So whatever you haven't gone through yet.
Okay.
November.
Let me emphasize on that robbery that took place on in the 9100 block of Glenarden Parkway. This citizen reported that he was approached by some suspects in a vehicle, and they demanded his money. He gave him $700. There's no update on that particular incident, and like I had mentioned before, the county robbery detectives had reached out to Lieutenant Robinson and advised him that per further investigation, that incident did not occur within the city limits.
Thank you.
And then back on November the 2nd, there was a report of shots fired in the area of Hayes Street and Johnson Avenue. And the officers responded to the location and didn't find any noticeable evidence while on the scene. The next day, on the 3rd, a resident called. Always knew they control the weather. Hello?
Yeah, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
On the excuse me, on the 3rd, the next day, a resident called the police and to report that her vehicle was parked on Hayes Street and had been damaged by 2 bullet holes on the driver and the passenger side door. But we didn't get any other calls for any damaged vehicles in reference to that. And then on November the 16th, the Prince George's County Police Auto Theft Carjacking Units executed a search warrant in the 3600 block of Jeff Road, and they were attempting to locate a 16-year-old female for carjacking and attempted murder, and she wasn't located on that particular day when they did the search warrant. And I don't have and with no further update on that particular incident at this time. And on November the 19th, I met with all the officers to advise them that our substation at the Woodmore Town Center has been revised and the process has been completed with furniture, set up, Wi-Fi, computers, printers, and everything is in operational now. And the guys can go in there and do their reports. And that's it. That's all I have.
Thank you. Has there been any update? I know there was a robbery at the Costco where citizens were concerned about it because they first heard about it on I think Neighbor Next Door. Has there been an arrest made in that robbery?
We haven't been contacted by the Prince George's County Police in reference to that, unless they have reached out to Lieutenant Robinson with any additional information. But at this time, I don't have any additional information to report.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Any report on the city manager report?
Let me find that. Only received an email from Code Enforcement Officer Thomas advising that we had needed to replace the 2 vehicles for our code enforcement. And he had suggested 2 mid-size 4-wheel drive SUVs. And I know there was concern about the grass growing at a house at 7902 Tyler Street, which was a vacant house. And I was advised by Public Works Supervisor Howard that the grass had been cut. And I met Code Enforcement Officer Thomas and advised him of some complaints that was addressed in a meeting earlier. And he advised me that he had taken care of those. Him and Officer Thompson, they had towed a vehicle, and this complaint was in reference to McLean Avenue, a vehicle that was parked with flat tires, and a vehicle that was parked that had trash in it that should have been removed. And we made contact with the owner, and he advised that he was in the process of getting tags for the vehicle and that he would be taking those items away to the dumpster.
Okay. Taking the vehicles to the dumpster, or?
Taking the items that was on the truck to the dumpster.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the vehicle had like 2 flat tires.
Okay. Yeah. I didn't know it was a truck. So, okay. Is that all?
Yes.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Next on the agenda, Mayor Cross, if there are any other high-level items on the mayor report, I know that the citizens can read the report, the full report in depth. Any other high-level actions or items that you like to discuss?
Thank you, Council President. So I just wanted to make sure that the citizens are aware that we're looking at 30 sidewalks for ADA compliance. So Americans with Disability Act compliance, prepping the resolution to support that with 3 bids as required by the council. Over the course of this last month, we've supported upwards of about 500 families from our turkey giveaways during Harvest Day Rewind to Giving Tuesday to Oh Give Thanks. Presently, the city did really well this season with taking care of citizens that needed a little extra helping. So I just wanted to put that out there and make sure that everyone that was a member and part and participant of that know how grateful we are in supporting our community in such a great way. We're working with the American Legion on the Veterans Day service. We're also preparing to work their prayer service, which will be for the Martin Luther King come January. As we look at Chief O'Donnell, we did a memorial service for him, but I wanted to bring back to citizens awareness that December the 23rd, the family would be pleased to have you come to Arlington National Cemetery. The time will be 10:45 a.m. So no later than 10:15, they're asking everyone to be there. That way you can get appropriate parking and walk in to the facility where he will be interned, December 23rd for Chief Philip A. O'Donnell. Polar Express will be this weekend, December the 18th. And this is an opportunity for us to, watch our movie, have some fun, some spirited fun. We're inviting kids and families as a whole to come out in this joyous opportunity. It will be from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. And we will have a surprise visit from Santa, and you don't want to miss this. There's over $3,000 worth of gifts that will be given out at this event. So we've had some really wonderful donators that, really came and hit the ball out of the park on this one. We've got 4 HR actions that council you'll have in your box. We'll make sure that we put those back on top so that we can get those actions taken care of. For the 4th of December, for citizens that were not aware, the Martin Luther King site was demolished. The job is currently complete. The grounds have been cleared. We are working towards the council's recommendation towards putting an adult fitness area there in the back right corner, opposite of the children's playground. For now, a gazebo will sit on the platform until it's decided what next to do as far as building on that foundation. As far as the climate action plan, there is a countywide climate action plan that was taken into account the amount of carbon emissions, and the goal is to reduce it by 50%. As we look at the city moving towards electric cars, I believe we'll be really suited well to support this 2030 strategy that's going to be implemented in the Maryland 2030 Greenhouse Gas Reduction Plan. So this is a good news story for the city to be in line with where the state is going towards greenhouse reduction. The final redistricting maps were pushed and voted on. For the most part, we were able to, based on our communication, based on feedback from across the city as well as the district of the county, were able to get the maps adequately pushed back to a place of communal acceptance, if you will, by all parties involved during that. So I want to thank you all for all your letters, for your comments to the county council. It really made a difference. So thank you for your attention to that. Other than that, just wanted to make sure you're aware that we will submit for the council the resolution for snow removal as we're heading into the winter months. We want to make sure that we get our contract ready for that snow removal. And as far as the report, that concludes any high-level wave tops. I'm ready to receive any questions as required.
Okay. I would like to open the floor up to any questions from citizens as it relates to any of the administrative reports, whether it be the financial report, chief's report, city manager's report, or the mayor's report. Okay. Without seeing any hands related to the reports, we will move on to the next item on the agenda, which is topics of discussion. And there's only one under there since we tabled the in-person meeting proposal, and that is Public Works. Councilman Guillaume.
Thank you, Council President. I'm not going to take long on this. Wanted to just touch base on certain things. I look at the Public Works report and I see some things that were listed, but I do know, unless something's changed, that I believe there are 5 staff members. I don't know if this is city manager who can answer that, or is it the mayor who can answer that as far as Public Works employees?
There are 5. You're correct, ma'am.
Okay, yeah. So just looking at what they listed as on the administrative report, and to me, it doesn't appear that all the things that they listed here amounts to the hours that they work. And what I mean by that is, I mentioned this over a month ago. The speed humps need to be painted. The street lines also, to be specific, I talked about Glen Arden Parkway between 7th and 10th Street. There's also, if you drive around, there's also Tyrol, there's also Jeff roads. And when I'm looking at the report, I see passed out flyers for this, passed out flyers for that. And I just think that Public Works, there needs to be better usage of time. I don't know what they're doing. I have heard from citizens that they see them hanging out, but not doing work. So for me, I'm just concerned about that, but also want to get some clarity as to what timeline can we expect for the speed humps to be painted and the lines. And again, I'm speaking specifically about Glen Arden Parkway, Jeff Road, Tyrol, but if there are other streets, those should be covered as well. Can we get some type of a response as to a timeline?
And just to add to that, that I was a victim of that this very weekend, heading to Nunu's birthday party, where driving the speed limit, going 25 miles per hour, did not see the speed bump, and that was not a pleasant ride for my car. So I'm pretty sure that there are more occurrences of that, at the very least down Glen Arden Parkway. But also checking on all of the speed bumps in the city. So, Mayor Cross, if you could talk on when that is expected to be rectified.
May I
Yeah.
Go
ahead.
May I comment?
Sure.
Yes, I've spoken to Howard about that, and I think he was in the process of getting some paint. And I just had asked him that just before he took leave. And when he gets back, I'll revisit that and find out when if he can give me an exact date when he will get that process taken care of.
Thank you. Sorry.
Is he the only one that can do it?
I'm not sure. I know I recall a conversation with him once. He said that he did it, but I don't know. I can check with Courtney tomorrow.
Okay.
And just to provide some additional level of clarity, I'm a numbers person. So the reason why I ask these things, like as far as how many employees do we have, I think the employees get an hour lunch break, no? Is it an hour or half an hour? An hour?
It equates to an hour, yes.
It's an hour. So if we give or take 40 hours a week, take an hour out each day, that's 35 hours a week. So 35 hours for 4 weeks or a month, that's 140 hours worth of work for one employee. So if you multiply that times 5, that's a lot of hours, right? And so I'm just trying to rationalize my head as to around what's taking so long to do something like this. When I'm reading the report, I see continue to sanitize the City Hall building twice a day, assembly breakdown of meeting signage, breakdown for City Shred Day, setup breakdown for City Harvest Rewind, so pass out flyers. So I'm trying to understand all these hours. We do have time, or there should be time. So please, if we can just add that level of urgency to the Public Works staff, for the citizens and for the cars that just keep getting demolished, that would be great. If I may just quickly just say something else, I want to compliment, I don't know if it's the city manager or the mayor, but I recently held an event at the Gold Room this past weekend, and the staff over there did a great job at waiting till we left and clean up and all that stuff. And so just wanted to say kudos to the Gold Room staff, and for citizens who haven't utilized the Gold Room in a long time, or even administration and legislative people, the Gold Room is a jewel and an asset. So kudos, if you can relate to your staff members that I was very pleased, please do so.
Mm.
That's all.
Very well.
Mayor Cross.
Thank you, Council President. Thank you for that, Councilwoman Guillaume. We'll make sure that they're aware. Now I'm looking at the Public Works projected goals. One of the things that I've requested that they do is they're accomplished as well as they're projected. And I don't see painting as one of their projected. So that may have gotten dropped off of the list of projections of things that need to get done. So we'll make sure that that is brought to light. And in fact, we'll send an email tonight to make sure it's coordinated. But no, Howard isn't the only one that can do that. I mean, we do have Courtney and we do have Albert, and we have, the team that can do this work. It's just not on the projected goals. So I'm inclined to believe that that just got missed. So we'll make sure that gets done.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Cross. Anything else, Councilwoman Gill?
No, that was it. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Councilwoman Jones?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, great. Okay. Also, I wanted to bring to light also that citizens are also used to having the city properties that have trees on them that drop leaves, like at the corner of Johnson Avenue and Leslie. Those properties could be cleaned or should have been cleaned by now from the leaves that have dropped in the curb around the street. There's leaves, piles of leaves that Public Works has normally gotten up in the past years, but for some reason, the city properties have not been addressed for those areas of leaf dropping. I had also made a suggestion, maybe the second or third year I was on the council, that just as we citizens rake up leaves and put them in bags and set them out for Monday morning yard waste, the Public Works could also break up some of those leaves, put them in the bag, and set it out there for the yard waste pickup, because not all residents use that. It's not like we would be doing something up and over and beyond giving the trash company more than what we pay for. But that's a suggestion as to getting rid of the leaves. They could just rake them up, put them in the bags, and then sit it at the curb. This weekend, as I was riding down Johnson, I had the opportunity to look at the former Mayor Smith's yard. He had about maybe 10, 15 bags out there of leaves. So, and that property that I'm speaking of is right next to his home that has all these leaves. They could do the same thing. It's a suggestion, a win-win suggestion, in my opinion. Thank you, Council President.
Thank you, Councilwoman Jones.
Mr. President.
Councilman Harry?
Yes, that's on Public Works also. I just want to be sure that whoever do those speed humps do better than what was done to those trees in Ward 2. I don't know who hacked those crepe myrtles up in Ward 2, who did a terrible job on those things. And it seemed like somebody did it. Whoever did it did a terrible job on it because they didn't want to do the job. So whoever's going to paint those speed humps, I hope they do a better job than what they did with those trees. Because if they don't want to do it, and I've seen some of them employees do that, if they don't want to do it, they're going to really not do a very good job. And I think that needs to be addressed by the administration on the performance and the duties that these employees do, and then make sure they do it in a professional manner, not halfway. So I just want to make sure it's done right. So
thank you, Councilman Harry. Any other comments related to Public Works? Oh, I'm sorry, Councilwoman Jones.
I think with the crepe myrtles, it might have been a situation where they didn't know exactly how to do that, and they were told to do it, and they just did it. I don't think they did that intentionally.
I think the issue with the crepe myrtles. Sorry, Mr. President. Mayor, Mr. President.
Yes, sir, Councilman Harry.
The issue with the crepe myrtles was that they were hacked up with a machete versus unison tree pruners. Oh. You know, a machete was not the tool recommended for that job, and the person chose to use a machete, and that's why they look like they look in that section of the city. So I'm just saying they need to take care and be responsible, and that's one thing that really drives me crazy is that, you know, if you don't want your property to look like that, don't make the city of Glenarden look like that. Take pride in what you do in the city of Glenarden. You know, you're getting paid a paycheck. Every job should be done with a modicum of professionalism and pride. when it comes down to the citizens in the city of Glenarden and represent the city. Because you don't live here, don't mean you should make the city look bad. And that's my feeling. You know, that's what you're getting paid for, to make it look professional, make it look decent, and make it look like a beautiful place you want to live. Not because you're in some type of, you're angry or you're mad or you don't feel you're getting paid enough that you don't want to do the job. If you feel you're not getting paid enough, leave and find something else. But you took the job at that salary, you know, do the job. So, I mean, it all came down to what they used, and they shouldn't have used what they used on those trees. That's $400,000 worth of trees that we put out there, and to hack them up like that was just ridiculous. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Harry. All right. And with that, we will go to next item on agenda for public comments. General comments, just open. Now it's an opportunity to have your voices heard. Any complaints, any questions or concerns. You can still talk about if you have any questions about the ministry reports. Anything at this time is your opportunity to make your voices heard. So, any citizens' comments? Ms. Hunter, you're on mute. Ms. Hunter? Ms. Jones, do you know if you could unmute her?
It's saying ask to unmute. Miss Alita Hunter, can you unmute yourself?
Is there any way you
There
can?
she is.
Oh,
There she is.
she's connecting to Otto.
Okay.
Okay, now try to unmute yourself, Ms. Hunter. As an alternative, Councilman Jones, can you enable the chat box?
Let's see.
And therefore, if she can't get it to work, she could put her question in the chat box. Until we're able to get Ms. Hunter, I'll move forward to Ms. Crutchfield.
Hello, everyone. My question is this. So I hear a lot of, I guess, chatter about the maintenance people. Sound like, to me, I would think they don't do their job. But however, I think the city of Glenarden is a beautiful place. That's just my take. And are they trained maintenance people? Do you all have a maintenance staff that does the work? Are these guys supposed to do the buildings and the maintenance? I'm just asking. I'm a little confused.
Mayor Cross.
Thank you, Citizen Crutchfield, for that question. So our public works is not trained in landscaping. And that's one of the reasons why we want to actually procure a landscaper for the city. And we've looked at Greenbelt, and we've looked at New Carrollton and some others, and we'll make the proposal for a proper landscaper when it comes down to things like the crepe myrtles or grounds upkeep. But public works, for the most part, are for grass cutting, tree trimming, just basic work for the city, and also building maintenance. So if we need to have some, small projects done in the building, they can do it. Like we talked about painting the lines on our city streets, they can do those things. That is what they're there for. It's the beautification things that we're running into trouble with. And that's one of those that we're going to have to either get them trained, invest in getting them properly trained, or invest in a contract with someone whose number one job that is for us, and then put it on a regimented schedule.
I thank you for that. And the reason I say that, I know as a board member for the HOA for Woodmore condos, we have a landscaper, and the landscaper takes care of the area. I would think these guys is to take care of the minute things in the city, not all the major aspects of the whole city of Glenard. I mean, that's just my take.
Thank you, Ms. Crutchfield. Ms. Hunter, are you able to unmute yourself? No?
I am now. I don't know why. Hi, good evening. That
Good
happened
evening.
last meeting too. I don't know why, but I had to leave and come back. So a couple of things I wanted to quickly touch on. The King site ground. Is there any estimate timeline for when a building or a building design is proposed to be placed back or built back on that site? And if it is has anyone suggested what would be in the building? The other thing is the sidewalks again on Johnson Court. I think it's in the works, but I didn't hear it mentioned this evening, so I'm bringing that up again. I don't want that to fall off the radar. The other thing is I mentioned a couple of meetings ago questioning about the 24/7 tobacco shops, and I was told, I think by the chief of police, I'm not sure if it was him, that none of them should have been 24/7 and it will be looked into. Well, clearly the one that's on 704 directly across from the city hall is 24/7. The other thing is there was a situation where a few neighbors had a concern and reached out regarding basically some neighbors just being very inconsiderate with how they park or their company parks or whatever. And, the neighbors are really losing faith in the police of Glenard and being able to come around, show their presence in police or answer calls when we call. So we pretty much just stop calling and just deal with stuff on our own or just suck it up or whatever. And that just shouldn't be. We pay our taxes, we live here, and we should not have to feel like, if there's a concern, then we call and we should get some assistance, some help. And it doesn't seem to be happening. Also, the car that was left on bricks on a couple weeks ago, Glenarm Parkway and Johnson Avenue, it was brought to our attention that there were at least four cars that were hit that night on this side in Ward 1. Because someone verify that, because that was news to me. And I think that's all I have.
Acting Chief Jackson, thank you, Ms. Hunter. Acting Chief Jackson, do you want to touch on the police presence and the cars on bricks?
Yeah, yeah. I think it was a total of maybe 2 or 3 cars that had the tires taken off. I know it was one in the 7900 block of Johnson Avenue and one in the 7800 block of Glenarden Parkway. And as far as Johnson Court, I put out an email to the officers on the evening shift to give that area, along with Hayes Street, special attention. And I've spoken to a young lady that lives in that area that I know, and she gave me some information on a house of on Johnson Court. When the lady is there, she has a lot of company, and that's where the inconsideration comes in, where the people are blocking someone else's driveway. And then she was telling me about another house 2 houses up from this particular house where there's led some suspicious activity there too. So I asked her, has anyone called the police? And she said she don't. So I tried to encourage her, if you see something suspicious, call the police. Don't just let it go by and not say anything.
Chief Jackson, do you know of any preventative measures that citizens can take to stop, robbers from coming and taking their wheels? Is there, I don't know, wheel locks or anything that you know of in your line of profession that we should know as citizens to protect our property?
Well, I would say, cars come equipped with alarms, but they're not the alarms that, like, when someone bumps your car, something like that, set it off. I would recommend those type of alarms be installed on the vehicles because they are better than the factory alarms. And also, these guys that are going throughout the county that's doing this, they're professionals. They know how to get those wheels off, even if they have wheel locks.
Yeah. According to reports, is there a particular brand of car that are easier than some? Is there some type of pattern or consistency as relates to model, make?
Well, they mainly hit Toyotas and Hondas.
Okay.
Honda Accords and the Toyota Corollas.
Okay. All right. And as it relates, I'm sorry,
they go after those sport rims, not the normal factory rims. They go after those high price tires and rims that you see on the sports cars.
Okay. And as it relates to the tobacco 24-hour shop?
Yeah, I had talked to Thomas about that, and according to him, I think the permit that they have says 24 hours, and I can talk to him more about that. But I've spoken to them, and I know he has. But the language I think that's on their permit says in 24 hours.
A permit from the city?
I guess I think the permit they got from the county.
Well, wouldn't they need also something from the city?
Yes, they would, but I don't know what's in writing. I'd have to speak with Thomas, the code enforcement officer.
Okay, yeah. Can you check on that, please? Because we've gotten a lot of complaints about that, and if we can step in to do anything to prevent that from happening, then I would support that.
Yes, I will.
Thank you. And Mayor Cross, she also talked about the Johnson Court sidewalks. Is that in your plan for the your 30 sidewalks? That I believe you said something about 30 sidewalks, ADA compliance that need reconstruction or something like that.
Yes, that's correct. And thank you, Citizen Hunter, for that inquiry. I did receive your communication. Johnson Court is a part of the 30. We will be pulling Glen Arden Parkway, McLean Street, Wesley Street, 3rd, 5th, and 4th Street, Reed Street, Irving Avenue, and some more against McLean and Glen Arden. So yes, we definitely have that included in the 30.
Okay. Sandra, do these answer your questions?
May I speak?
Yes.
Okay. Mayor Cross, thank you. Yes, that did answer my question. Back to the chief with the comment on Johnson Court when the neighbor said they don't call. Well, there's been so much stuff going on previously where people were calling and nothing ever happened. So, I mean, that's what's going to happen. You just get to the point where why even call? Does anyone care? I'm glad you said that to the neighbor, and hopefully going forward, we won't have to call. You know, my hope is that something is said to the neighbor to let them know, you know, the expectation of, you know, just being a courteous neighbor. And then also with I don't know, I didn't hear anything about the King site.
I'm sorry.
No,
We overlooked that one.
Oh, the cars, again, back to the cars that were left on bricks, it's really concerning to me because my next door neighbor, they went to her house and took bricks and removed bricks from her yard to place some of those cars on bricks. That's a little too close for comfort. And again, if if the police say, if you ask them to come through more, we're not seeing them. We're not seeing them. It would be nice if we can know, like, okay, maybe around what time we should expect to see them. Like, is there overnight shift? Is there even an overnight shift in Glenarden? But we just do not have the police presence that we need on this street and right here in this little area right here. We just don't. While we were talking just now, I heard what sounded like gunfire. I don't know if it was right here or further away, but you can't stop everything. Police can't stop everything. They can't be everywhere, but your presence is greatly appreciated. We feel more comfortable when we see you if you're just riding by, but we're not seeing that. We're not getting that. But yes, my questions were answered. Thank you. Oh, the 24/7. Yeah, I'm interested to hear about that too, because if the county got it, the city had to sign off and agree with that. And I really have a problem with us having a 24/7 tobacco store in Glenarden. That's all I have.
Thank you. So 2 points of a follow-up. Acting Chief Jackson, also, I think I mentioned it last time, but as we get into budget season around the corner, it would be good to look into license plates readers. I know other jurisdictions have them, and some HOAs have invested in them to prevent things like this. And what will happen is, if it's happening at 3 o'clock in the morning, there's only so many entry points to Ward 1. So it wouldn't, it's not like we have to have like 10 of them or anything like that, but they will be able to read the license plates if it's happening particularly at 3 o'clock in the morning. And so we can easily catch whoever's doing these things, and that people can kind of sleep a little better and breathe a little easier if we have some sort of additional help outside of just officers patrolling the street, something that can actually be preventative or at least initially catch who's doing stuff like that. So maybe it's something to think about as you and the mayor get together to discuss some of the administrative items in the budget for FY23. And Mayor Cross, if you could just touch on briefly the King site, please.
Okay. Thank you. So relative to the King site, at present, the only plans is for the adult fitness area there in the back right corner and the portable gazebo on the foundation. So what we will have to do is work with the council to determine what layout we would actually want to present and have the citizens' voice. I think it's very critical that we have the citizens' voice on what type of facility they desire and what that facility should do for the community at large. We know that the Martin Luther King site had a very valuable presence in the community, from sock hop dances to education, community forums, and even just a rec center where you can come. Kids have a place to play and commune together. So when it comes down to the moment of decision, expect that there will be a survey to citizens to ensure that we are providing the facility that gives the value to the community at large. So thank you for asking that question. Please stay ever vigilant, and I know you will, on what happens with the site. But thank you for that. We, as of right now, a portable gazebo as we make foundation plans for the future.
Thank you. Mrs. Wilson.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening. How are you doing?
I'm great. I am. I have a question concerning the legislation that was voted on tonight. And my question is, was this legislation presented to the citizens?
Yes.
Before it was voted on?
Yes, ma'am. It was posted online. Yeah,
And
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Citizens had an opportunity. Actually, what I should have said is, was there a hearing for this, for the citizens? And did you get citizens' comments on it? Because I don't recall at any point where this piece of legislation called for citizens' comments.
Correct. There weren't citizens' comments in the beginning. You can certainly speak on it now if you would like to.
Then my question to you is, what's the point of me commenting on it now when you all have already voted on it? The legislation should be presented to citizens, and they should be able to comment on it prior to it being voted on. And if I remember correctly, I was present at the work session, which citizens did not have. They could not comment at a work session. So they could not comment on this piece of legislation. When you convened tonight, you immediately after you talked about the agenda and all like that, you went on to this piece of legislation and you voted on it. So citizens still did not have an opportunity to comment on it before a vote was taken. So with that being said, you're not following what the charter resolution says. With the charter resolution, citizens are supposed to have an opportunity to hear the legislation and comment on it prior to it being voted on. So please do not continue this way of doing things that you're doing it, because you're not following the charter.
Thank you, Ms. Wilson. Actually, for our past legislations, we've had citizens' comments before we voted on a piece of legislation. And this one, which I view different, was because it was already in the budget for us to have that piece of equipment. So there wasn't much of a citizen's comment that was warranted. But you're welcome to speak on it now. If you disagree with it, feel free. But the notion that we have consistently not followed the charter and allow citizens' comments is false. This was the one that.
Excuse me, Mr. Curtis. I did not say that you consistently did that. I said on this piece of legislation.
Point of order, Ms. Wilson.
Yes, sir.
I let you speak, and you're welcome to dispute me afterwards. I don't have a problem with you. I just want to finish my point. And if I'm wrong, then you could say that I'm wrong. I'll welcome that point. But and if I put words in your mouth, I apologize. But I'll simply send, and I apologize, Ms. Wilson. I was simply saying that this was just a formality. There wasn't much of a big piece of legislation like we're building a new building, or we're voting on how we're going to use the Arp Funds, which we will ask for citizens' comments. This was something that was in the budget for us to do, and we're just moving forward with it. But if you look at our other meetings for these other things like the ARPA funds and these other legislations, we actually have had citizens' comments before we voted on the legislations. So I didn't want there to be a misunderstanding that this has been something that we've just done all along. But you're free to speak and correct me if I did say that you said something you didn't.
Are you done? May I
Yes,
speak now?
ma'am. Yes,
Thank
ma'am.
you. Yes, you did put words in my mouth because I didn't say that all other legislation had been done that way. I
Mhm.
said this piece of legislation. And if I remember correctly, that's what the charter resolution says, that all legislation, it doesn't say if it is in the budget, it doesn't say if it's not in the budget, then we citizens have a comment on it. It says all legislation that comes that's going to come forth for a vote, the citizens, it should be presented to the citizens prior, and the citizens have an opportunity to comment on it. And I'm saying this piece of legislation that was passed tonight
Mhm.
did not follow that procedure. And
Okay.
I am requesting that you follow the charter resolution, follow the charter, because if it's supposed to be for all legislation, please let it be for all legislation.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Now, did you actually have a comment related to the
My
legislation?
I don't feel that my comment would be taken into consideration at this time. Nothing will be changed because you've already voted on it. So I just want to make it clear that me being a citizen, I do not appreciate legislation coming forth and me not being given the opportunity to comment on it if I so choose.
Well, thank you, Ms. Wilson.
You're so
I
welcome.
I appreciate that, and definitely will take that into consideration moving forward.
Thank you. I want the whole council to take that into consideration.
And yes, we will. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other comments, Ms. Wilson? Mrs. Wilson, sorry.
No, not at this time. Thank
Okay.
you.
Thank you. Any other citizens' comments? Okay. Without hearing anything, just wanted to do one more thing. One, Christmas is actually next weekend, not the coming weekend, but the following weekend. So just wanted to tell everybody as you go Christmas shopping, stay safe, have a happy holidays with your family. And I actually want to do a consensus because I know technically this is a public hearing, so I don't know if we need one next week. And want a consensus to, if we don't have anything to meet for next week, to actually break until it will be January the 3rd. Because according to our charter, it's not required that we have a public hearing next week. So wanted a consensus with the council as to, since we currently don't have anything, bypassing and not having that public hearing, and staying on schedule for our work session on January the 3rd, which means that we'll have 2 weeks of no meetings. So I'll just go ahead. Councilman Hairston, this is just consensus. We're not voting. This is just a consensus. Councilman Hairston?
If this is the consensus to go on a break?
Yes, until our regularly scheduled work session on January the 3rd.
Yes.
Councilman Harry?
Yes.
That was quick. I'm guessing that was.
Yes.
Yes, okay. Councilwoman Jones?
No.
Councilwoman Guillaume?
Yes.
Councilwoman Ferguson?
Abstain.
I'm sorry, I didn't catch that.
Abstain.
Councilman Curtis? I will say yes. There is a lot of work that we have to do, so I do want the council to be aware that once we hit the ground in January, there's going to be a lot to do. But I do also want to respect the time that this is the season to be jolly, and it's family. And there's I want everyone to enjoy their time, be safe, have a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, and be well rested, because we will be doing a lot in the coming new year. That's not to say that the council is not going to be working in the next 2 weeks. We're just not probably going to meet publicly unless there's an emergency. So with that, to everyone, have a happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. We're still open, so if you have any questions, please feel free to email the council or the mayor. We will respond. And blessings to you and your family. With that, it is 8:53.
Mr. President, may I?
I'm sorry, Councilman Curtis.
Uh,
Sorry, Councilman Harry.
Yeah, I just want to wish everyone a very Merry Christmas and a happy holiday, and just be safe. That's it.
Thank you. Councilwoman Ferguson, did you have anything to say?
Just want to say happy holidays and keep safe also. Just be blessed.
I'll just do a round table. Councilman Hairston, any last words?
Happy holidays. Stay safe.
Councilwoman Jones.
Have a blessed Merry Christmas and New Year's, and remember that Jesus is the reason for the season. Thank you.
Councilwoman Guillaume.
Just wanted to echo what my fellow colleagues mentioned. Happy holidays, Kwanzaa included, and all be blessed and safe. Please be safe, healthy, safe, please.
Thank you. Councilwoman Ferguson. We already went, sorry. But if you have anything else.
Just be blessed again. And stay safe, stay safe. For your family.
Captain, Acting Chief Jackson.
I'd like to wish everyone a safe and happy holidays and enjoy, and look forward to being here next year, see what the new year bring in for the city and everybody that's here.
And Mayor Cross.
Thank you. Everyone have a wonderful holiday season, and we're here for you. Just give us a call. We'll be there for you. And also note that on the 17th, there's a 3-hour early release. So if you're calling during that time, just make sure you know that the phones will be on automated answer. But we look forward to seeing you in the new year. And if we can be of service during this holiday season, please do not hesitate to call.
Thank you. Yes, we're still open for business. With that, the time is 8:55 and this meeting is now adjourned. Thank you.